I would first like to say this video that I'm putting out, I don't have any political agenda. I don't favor one side over the other. I consider myself an independent, a free thinker. Um, I like to think that if I were to vote for somebody, it's because their qualifications, and I think that they would do a way better job than the opposition. That being said, I had been watching and watched the congressional hearings, the oversight hearings for Comey, Director Comey of the FBI, and the Attorney General Lynch in regards to the email investigation. Um, my questions are simply why there has to be intent when it's already implied, according to the statutes, and I looked them up while I was watching the videos, that um, simply uh, former Secretary of State Clinton broke the law. Um, like that's that's that in a nutshell. I mean, there's no gray area. There's no. There needs to be intent. It defines gross negligence. It specifies particularly what she did. I'm sure, uh, as an attorney and a public figure and former First Lady and former Secretary of State, there were certain um, guidelines. There were agreements that had to be signed. There were um, classification policy handling documents that were probably signed. Confidentiality agreements were signed. I'm sure she didn't just blindly sign them without reading them or going over them. That's what perplexes me the most. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it, and I consider myself pretty much a logical thinker. And maybe somebody's got to dumb it down and explain it to me in grade school terms. I don't know. I worked in the field of law enforcement for 23 years, and we even have to sign and know about a code of ethics policy. You can't openly bash your department. You can't talk to the media unless you're authorized. Like there's a number of things. You can't just give out information to someone because they ask for it. There's procedures, there's ways to go about it. You need to get clearance, you need to get permission. That's it. That's all it pertains to. And I'm sure the same thing uh, had to do with former Secretary Clinton. The definition in Lynch's case of conflict of interest, it's the appearance of what something seems. The meeting with former President Clinton on her plane definitely gave the appearance of some type of collusion. Whether it was there, present, nobody knows what was discussed except the two of them and whomever was present. But it's just a mere appearance. Therefore, common sense would have dictated she should have recused herself, from the investigation or any decision making. That's just common sense. A normal person thinking that way would say, yeah, it's not what was done, it's just the appearance of. That's what, is based in the conflict of interest definition. Uh, Gross negligence in regards to former Secretary of State Clinton has nothing to do with intent. It's when you openly disregard the rules and regulations and the SOPs and the POPs, the P and Ps, and do something that you already know is not supposed to be done. It's not normal. It's against policy. It's against the law. I just can't wrap my head around it. I really am trying, but I cannot wrap my head around it. They can tap dance around. Again, I'm not trying to bash anyone. I would say the same thing if it was anyone else. If it was, anyone else in that position, and the same instance took place. I don't get it. I need somebody to explain to me. I really need somebody to explain to me, because whether you're Republican or Democrat, putting those views aside, you're just look at it logically. Just look at it logically. Look at it face value. There's no digging. It's not like there's this air of mystery and we don't know the facts and it has to be a particular intent, or they have to have a particular thought. I mean, the evidence is what the evidence is. How nobody prosecuted her attorneys for openly destroying evidence, I think that that's obstruction. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But I would consider that obstruction. For former Secretary Clinton to lie to the FBI and then change her mind and tell the truth, I would also kind of consider that obstruction, because you're not cooperating with the investigation. Um, I know I'm all over the place. If